Welcome to Math 1314 Practice Questions, Week 3, Part 2. So I will review some of the rational equation fact that we will use to solve for rational equations problem. So if we have A over B plus C over D equal E over F, this one is the first way to do it, and this one is the second way. But even though the point of view is different, but it will be come up with the same result at the end. So let's go over the first one. We see that the rational equations have BDF. In this case is the denominator, so the restricted value have to be B different from 0, D different from 0, and F different from 0. So we find the least common denominator by take one of each factor. So we have BDF at the least common denominators. So in the first method, we multiply both sides of the equations for the least common denominator. The PDF here and here, right? So for in the left hand side, we see that we distribute, so we have A multiplied by BDF over B, and then the second term we have C multiplied by BDF over D. On the right hand side we have E multiplied by BDF over F. And if you see that the factor B in common, so we cancel that. At the bottom is 1, so anything divided by 1 is the same of that thing, so we just leave it like that. And for the second term we have the D in common, cancel that, similar to the right hand side, and we end up with the result. On the second way, we have the same problem. So the thing is, we see that we have the BDF at the least common denominator, right? So for the fraction A over B, they only need the factor D and F. So I multiply D and F for both denominator and numerator for the first fractions A over B. We multiply the same thing on the top and the bottom, so it means it doesn't change the fact that if we cancel the DF on the top with the DF at the bottom, you will go back to the A over B. The same thing with C over D. Now we see that you have D already, but for the least common denominator you have that 3 factor. Now you only have 1 factor D. Now you need BF, and you do the same thing. Multiply BF top and bottom for the fractions C over D. We do the same thing on the right hand side. E over F, we have F factor F, but we lacking B and D, so we multiply top and bottom to B and D. So using the fact that we have A over B equals C over B, the B is the denominator is the same. If we have 2 denominator is the same, it means their numerator have to be the same, have to be equal. So based on that, on the right hand side we have E BD over BDF. On the left hand side, because it's the same denominator BDF, we combine the top together, right? So we will have ADF plus CBF. And now, because it's the same denominator, we just set the numerator equal each other. So it's going to be A times DF plus C times BF equal E times BD. Anyway, it will be the same result for both ways, for two point of views, but it will be end up with the same result. For my opinions, I will prefer the way number 2, but if you want to use number 1, you can use it, whatever more familiar with you. Alright, let's go into the practice questions. Okay, now we have the rational equations. And the first step we need to do is make all of the denominator right into the factor form. And also have to set each factor different from 0 to avoid the denominator become 0. Okay, let's do it. For the first one, I have 6 on the top, keep the same. Alright, now quick, because one trick is because all of the a, in this case, the lead coefficient of the x squared is 1. So whenever we use the AC method, it will be that number inside the parenthesis. We don't need to grouping or something, factoring a few times before having the factor, the 0 factor. So we'll have x here, 2 number multiply equal 15 and sum up to -8. So we come up with -5 and -3. Alright, so next one, we'll have x for the first term in each factor, and then 2 number multiply equal 3 and add up to -4, so that should be -3 and -1. Alright, the last one, two number multiply equal 5, add up to -6, that should be 5 and 1, -5 and -1. Okay, now we can see this one. The least common denominator is, you see that for the first denominator, they lack x minus 1. So I will multiply x minus 1 for top and bottom. Alright, on the second one, we see that we have x minus 3, x minus 1. We lack x minus 5. Factor that, x minus 5 factor that. So on the right hand side, we're lacking x minus 3. So we do top and bottom. Now we see that now every denominator is the same. So the restricted value will be x different from 5, comma x different from 3, and different from 1. Why? Because when you plug 5 in x, at the bottom we have the factor x minus 5 equals 0. That makes the whole denominator equal 0. The same thing with x equal 3. You have x minus 3 is the factor at the bottom. So if you plug 3 in, you got 0 denominator. And x minus 1, if x equal 1, you have 0 factor at the denominator, and it doesn't work. Now we will copy it one more time. We have 6 that the denominator, the numerator, x minus 1 plus 3 x minus 5 equal 5 times x minus 3. Remember the fact I just set in the beginning is if we have A over B equals C over B, then we will have A equals C. The top will be equal if the denominator is the same. So I just rewrite the numerator. And now we can find it. We can distribute 6 times x is 6x, 6 times 6 times x is 6x, 6 times -1 is -6. Add 3x minus 15 equal 5x minus 15. So we're adding 15 both sides, right? We cancel that. Now we have 6x plus 3x is 9x, and then we subtract 5x both sides. We'll have 9 minus 5 is 4x, right? So that term out, we have left with -6. And we're adding 6 both sides. We got 6. 4x equals 6. So x equals 6 divided by 4. We divide both sides by 4. And we simplify it by factor of 2. So it will be 3 over 2. And it's not done. Whenever we're working on this type of questions, we have to look back for the restricted value. Is that x equal 5, 3, or 1? If it's not those numbers, those values, it's good to go. That's the final answer. If it's one of those restricted value, we could not take it if it's restricted value. But in this case, yes, it worked. This one more questions, the same, similar to it. So first thing, we have 2 factors. So if we have 5 times 10, right? So it's positive 10, positive 5, minus 4 over now 2 numbers multiply equal 30 and add up to 13. So we think about 10 and 3. Two numbers multiply equal 15 and add up to 8. 5 and 3. Alright, now restricted value. X have to be different from -10, -5, and -3. So we see that they have some common factor at the denominator. So x plus 10, x plus 10, and here x plus 10 doesn't have it, so add it. So multiply with x plus 10, top and bottom. Alright, so now we have x plus 10, x plus 5. This one doesn't have x plus 3. The factor x plus 5 here doesn't have it, so we multiply with that factor. Now all the top will be the same. All the top will add up. The left hand side top and the right hand side top will be the same. Now we can distribute x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 20 equal 2x plus 20. Alright, now we have x squared. 3x minus 4x is negative x. Negative x minus 2x, negative 3x. Right? What is the negative 2? Is from the right hand side. Just subtract both sides by negative 2. And now we're left with negative 20 on the left hand side. We subtract 20 both sides. Now we have negative 40. And this side equals 0. Alright, now two number multiply equal 40, negative 40, and add up to negative 3, I think about 8 and 5, negative 8 and positive 5. 0 factor term, so x equal 8 or x equal negative 5, and we see that one of the restricted value is negative 5, and this one is not the solutions. The solution is only x equal 8 in this case. Now number 13, we do the same. 2x plus 3 over x minus 6 x plus 1 minus x plus 5 two number multiply equal 9 and then add up to 10, so 9 and 1. X minus 7 on the top, just copy it down. Then denominator factor, ring the denominator, so x. Two number multiply equal negative 54, but add up to 3, so minus 6. Alright, the restricted value x different from negative 9, negative 1, and 6. How we find those values? Set all denominator equals 0. Okay, and x have to be different from that because the denominator have to different from 0. Now, least common denominator or the factor lacking. So for the first one, we have x minus 6, x plus 1, we lack x plus 9. Okay, on the second term, we have lack x minus 6. The last one, lacking x plus 1. Alright, now we just rewrite one more time. Two x plus 3 times x plus 9 minus x plus 5 times x minus 6, that equal x minus 7 times x plus 1. Now we distribute 2x times x, 2x squared, 2x times 9, 18x, 3 times x, 3x, 3 times 9, 27. Now be careful with this negative. Alright, so let's make it the big parenthesis right here and distribute the two factors. So x squared minus 6x plus 5x minus 30. Right? So now remember we have to distribute that negative inside the parenthesis. So minus x squared plus 6x minus 5x plus 30 equal x squared minus 7x plus x minus 7. Alright, now we have to checking on the like term, combined like term. So we subtract both sides by x squared, right? So right here we have 2x squared minus 2x squared, that all gone. Here we have 18x plus 3x is 21 plus 6x 27 minus 5x 22, and then we add 7 both sides. Actually add 6 both sides, add 6x both sides because we have that combined. On this side we have 22. Now we add 6x both sides. We will end up with 28x. Now all the number 27 and 30 is 57. 57 on the left hand side, so we subtract 57 both sides. We end up with negative 64. Alright, now x equal negative 64 divided by 28. We have to simplify this one by factor of 4. So that makes 16, that makes 7. We check for the restricted value, negative 9, negative 1, and 6. This one is different from those, so that will be the right answer. Okay, for this questions, similarly, we'll do rewrite that and make a factor at the denominator. So x plus 7, x minus 1, plus 4. This one only have x plus 7, and then x minus 1. So we see that the first denominator, x plus 7, x minus 1, is the least common denominator, right? So on another term, we will need the factor x minus 1 here. For this one, we need the factor x plus 7. So now, just rewrite one more time. The first one is half that. We just multiply by 1 or just keep it like that. So we have 22. We add 4, x minus 1 equal x times x plus 7. 22 plus 4x minus 4 equal x squared plus 7x. And we forgot the restricted value, right? So x different from -7 and 1. Now I will move all of the left-hand side term into the right-hand side, So let's combine the term first. We have 22 minus 14 is 18. And when I move on the other side, it's minus 18, right? And also we only have 4x on the left hand side. Now we subtract 4x both sides, right? So we come up with 3x. That equals 0. Now two numbers multiply equal -18. Add up to 3. 6 and 3, right? Positive 6 and -3. Now x equal -6 or x equal 3. Check for the restricted value. It worked, right? So that's the answer. Okay, question 15. Now we see that 3, 2, and 6. 6 is 3 times 2, right? But in this case, because it have kind of the fractions, you can do multiply both sides by the least common denominator. In this case, is 6. Or you just multiply by 2 over 2 for the first term, 3 over 3 for the second term, and keep this last term as it is, right? But it will be easier when you multiply by the least common denominator, because now on the right hand side you will have 0. It's not the fractions, so it's better to do multiply both sides by the least common denominators. So I multiply by 6 both sides. So we distribute. The first one we have 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 2 is 4 x squared plus 6 times 1/2 is 3x. 6 times -1, 6 is -1 equals 0. Alright, now we will have two numbers multiply equal -4, add up to 3. That positive 4 and -1. So 4x squared plus 4x minus x minus 1. Alright. So for x, for the first group, the second group is the rest. For x in common, x plus 1. And then minus x plus 1. Take negative 1 out. Now we have in common x plus 1. Left over for x minus 1. Now x equal negative 1 or x equal 1 over 4. Alright, now we have rational equations is have two fractions on this side. So we'll do 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 5 equal 2 times ax. Remember the restricted value is x different from 0, x different from 5 over 2. Now we distribute 6x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 5, that equals 16x. So 6x squared minus 29x minus 5 equals 0. Now we have the negative 29x. We have negative 15x plus 2x is negative 13x, and then we subtract both sides by 16x. On the right hand side we have 0, on the left hand side we have negative 13 add negative 16, so it will be negative 29x. Two numbers multiply equal negative 30, add up to negative 29, so we will have 30x, right, minus 30x at x. Alright, group the first two and the last two. We have 6x in common, x minus 5 plus x minus 5 equals 0. X minus 5 in common, 6x plus 1, that equals 0. X equal 5, or x equal negative 1 over 6. Check the restricted value, and yes, it's good. So for these questions, we always want to have the square root on one side and number on another side, so that when we square both sides, we can get rid of the square root and continue calculate or solving for x. So subtract 3 from both sides, we have left with x plus 5 under square root equal 4. Now we square both sides. That will be x plus 5 equals 16, x equal 11. 16 subtract 5 from both sides, right? Similar to last questions, we will try to isolate the root and do the same exponent at the roots so it can get rid of that root, right? So we will subtract a from both sides. Then divide both sides by -3. That's equal 1. We have on this side is 2x plus 9. And then 6 divided by -3 is -2. So we will fifth root, so we will use exponent of 5 to get rid of that root, of fifth root, so that 2x plus 9 equal -32. Alright, so 2x equal -41 and x equal -41/2. Okay, in this questions, we already set up the two roots. One is the square root on one side, and another one is x minus 5. So we can square both sides to get rid of that square root. On the right hand side, we have 3x minus 5. On the left hand side, we just expand that binomial, the square of binomial, so that x squared minus 10x plus 25. You can find by x minus 5 times x minus 5, or remember that a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, that equal a plus b squared, or a squared minus 2ab plus b squared equal a minus b squared. So we use this one. In this case, we have x minus 5, so a is x squared minus 2 times 5 times x is -10x, and plus 5 squared, 25. X squared minus 13x plus 30 equal 0. How we get that? We subtract both sides by 3x and add 5. Alright. So on the left hand side, we add 2 -13x and positive 30. On the right hand side, that cancel, make it 0. Now factor 2 number multiply equal 30 and add up to -13. So -3 and -10. Perfect. Equal 0. X equal 10 or x equal 3. Number 20, similar to that one, so we square both sides, get rid of that. So x squared plus 2 times 3 is 6x plus 3 squared is 9. 4x plus 9. We have 9 both sides. Cancel that. Subtract 9 both sides. So that's 0. Alright, now we subtract 4x both sides. We have x squared plus 2x equals 0. Common in x plus 2. 0, x equals 0, or x equals negative 2. Okay, number 21. Remember, whenever we have the exponent, so this one, the numerator over denominator, right? So this one will rewrite as denominator is the root, and a is to the n is the power. And the power can be inside or outside of the root. It means you can write down equal root d of a or to the n. Alright, so this one I have the root, square root, right? Because the denominator right here, so this one will be look like that, square root x plus 7. I know that on the right hand side 32 is 2 to the power of 5, and it's perfect when I have that power is 5 right here, that the numerator right here is 5. So it's the same exponent, so the base will be the same. So square root of x plus 7 equal 2. Alright, now we square both sides. X plus 7 equal 4. Then we have x equal negative 3. Subtract 7 both sides. Alright. Similar to this questions, but the thing is we have like term right here, so we have to add 7 both sides, right? So this one 0. On the right hand side, that 49. We rewrite this one. Denominator is 3. That cube root 3x minus 1. I know that I have to be square outside because 49 is 7 square. Okay, this one is the same as 7 square. So now I take off of the square, so I have cube root of x 3x minus 1, that equals 7. Now I cube root, I use the cube both sides. So this one will be 3x minus 1. And this one is 343. So x equal 344 over 3. And to checking if they can simplify, you see that 3 is the prime number at the denominator. So we only need to check for the divisible of 3 on the top, or 344. So 344 we can add the digits. All the digits is 7, that 11. The 11 could not divisible to 3, so 3, 4, 4 could not do that. So this is the simplified form. So for these questions, we can use the u substitute at u equal x squared. But also, I just want to use as it is. So we know that we have a to the power of n to the power of m equal a to the power of n times m. I can rewrite x to the power of 4 as x to the power of 2 times 2, or x to the power of 2 and then squared. Rewrite it, so x squared plus 2 times x squared times 2 equal, I move the negative 45 to the right, so it becomes 45 because we add both sides by 45. Alright, now this one is lacking 2 square. To complete the square on the left hand side, I add 2 square on both sides. Now this one becomes x squared plus 2 all square equal 49. We can use the square root property here to solve for this problem. So x squared plus 2 equal plus or minus 7. Square root of 49 is equal 7. Okay, so x squared plus 2 equal minus 7, or x squared plus 2 equals 7. We solve for the first one first. X squared equal negative 9. So x equal plus or minus 3i. Square root of negative 9 is square root of 9 times square root of negative 1, that 3i. X squared equal 5. So x will be equal plus or minus square root of 5. And we have the high degree in this equation is 4. So we have 4 solutions. Alright, number 24. Now I like to complete the square on this one. Because I see that x squared minus 2 times x times 6 equal 15. Now what lacking to complete the square is 6 squared. So on the right hand side, that are numbers 36 and 15. That 51. And now we have x minus 6 all square. So we have x minus 6 equal plus or minus square root of 51. X equals 6 plus or minus square root of 51. Alright. Number 25. So we see that we have 3 terms. Now we need to apply the zero factor if we're able to do that. So we have 2 numbers multiply equal 30, add up to negative 17. So that two numbers should be negative 15 and negative 2. So 6x squared minus negative 15x minus 2x plus 5 equals 0. AC method. Now root the first two and the last two. So we have 6 is 3x for the first one, left with x. The second term we have left with 2x. And then we minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Now 2x minus 5 is in common, left with 3x minus 1, that equals 0. Now we solve for each of them. So x equal 5 over 2 or x equal 1 over 3. Okay, number 26 is similar. It looks similar, right? But the thing is, on the previous questions, we have that two number multiply is positive 30. Now this one's negative 30. And then two number add up to negative 17. So it looks like impossible to find that two numbers. And we try the completing the square, right? Completing the square, but this negative 17 divided by 6 is not give us like a whole number. So we're not using the completing square, but we go straight to the quadratic formula. And negative b is positive 17, negative and negative, right? Plus or minus square root of b is negative 17 squared. It's the same thing as 17 squared. Alright, now minus 4 times a is 6 times c is negative 5. So I take that negative in front, make it positive. Alright, 2 times 6 is 12. Now simplify that. 17 plus or minus 2a9 plus 120. How we calculate this one? 4 times 6 times 5. So I will multiply 4 times 5 is 20 times 6 is 120. That's faster. Or divide by 12. 17 plus or minus square root of 409 over 12. And this is not the nice number, so that's why we could not use the completing square, but go straight to the quadratic formula. Okay, number 27. Now it looks like we can use the square root property, right, to solve for this problem. Quadratic equations. Here we go. Subtract 3 both sides. That negative 30. 2 times 7x minus 4 square. Now divide both sides by 2. You have negative 15 on this side. 7x minus 4 square. Now take the square root both sides. So we have 7x minus 4 equal plus or minus square root of negative 15. Alright, now x equal 7x equal 4 plus or minus I square root of 15. Divide both sides by 7. 4 plus or minus I square root of 15 over 7. Number 28. Isolate the root. Alright, subtract 7 from both sides. Negative 2. Root 5. 3x minus 8. The negative, I can multiply both sides by negative 1 to make it both positive, and then make the exponent to the 5th. So that cancel. 3x minus 8 equal 32. 3x equal 32 at 8, 40. X equal 40 divided by 3. Now I see that negative on the left hand side, the negative square root of 6 minus 5x. And on the right hand side I have the negative as well. So I will switch the side, right? I will add 6 this side, add 6. And then add square root of 6 minus 5x on this side. So on this side, cancel that one. On that side, cancel that one. I have x plus 6 equals square root of 6 minus 5x. Now I can square both sides. Alright, x squared plus 2 times 6 is 12x plus 6 squared, 36. 6 minus 5x on this side. Now combine like term x squared plus 17x. We have 12 and then negative 5, so add 5 both sides. Plus 30 equals 0. Two numbers multiply equal 30. Add up to 17. That's 15 and 2. X equal negative 15. All x equal negative 2. Number 30. We have working on ones before, so x squared plus 2 times x squared times 5. Move the 24 over here. We need add up to both sides 5 squared, add both sides 5 squared. And now it's become x squared plus 5 all squared equal 1. Now we take the square root both sides. So x squared plus 5 equal plus or minus square root of 1 is 1. Now x squared is equal to plus 5 equal to negative 1, or x squared plus 5 equal 1, right? So we have x squared equal negative 6. This side x squared equal negative 4. X equal plus or minus I square root of 6. X equal plus or minus 2I. Alright, we go back to this rational equation questions. So, two number multiply equal 28, add up to 11, that's 7 and 4. Two number multiply by 12, produce 12, add up to 7, so that 4 and 3. Two number product of two number is 21, and sum is 10, so 3 and 7. Restricted value x different from negative 7, negative 4, negative 3. Complete the least common denominator is x plus 3 here, x plus 7, x plus 4. Now, the top on the left hand side equal the top on the right hand side, rewrite. Now distribute x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 14 ax plus 32. Alright, we have x squared. 3x plus 2x is 5x. Subtract a both sides. 5 subtract a, negative 3x. 14 subtract 32 minus 18 equals 0. Now two number product is negative 18 and sum is negative 3, so negative 6 and 3. So x is 6 or x is negative 3. Alright, the big questions for today. Number 32. So first of all, we have to find the restricted value. X have to be different from 4. This is the only denominator have include x term in there, so we set that equals 0, and you know that it could not be 0, right? So it will be x different from 4. So that make the denominator different from 0. We see that we have 2x plus 5 over x minus 4. If we call that is u, I can rewrite it at u squared minus 9u at 20 equal 0. That would be easier to solve. And u, that two number multiply equal 20 add up to -9. That will be -5 and -4. Now we say u equal 5 or u equal 4. So if u equal 5, it means 2x plus 5 over x minus 4 equal 5. Or 2x plus 5 over x minus 4 equal 4. And remember, at the number we can rewrite at 5 over 1 or 4 over 1, right? And then do the cross multiply. So 2x plus 5 times 1. That's 2x plus 5. 5 times x minus 4. 2x plus 5 equal, distribute 5x minus 20. Now 3x equal 25. X equal 25 divided by 3. On another side we have 2x plus 5 equal 4 times x minus 4. 2x plus 5 equal 4x minus 16. 2x equal 21. X equal 21 over 2. And we're checking for the restricted value. And it's good to go because x only needs to different from 4. Those value 25 over 3 and 21 over 2 is good. Thank you for participating in this video. See you next time.